Hello and welcome. I've literally never introduced a video like that before, but I'm fairly excited because we have the Fiio DM13. I do want their CP13, I think it's also called, or CP12, whatever, their tape deck. I really do want that. I'm reaching out to Fiio. If anyone knows how to get in touch with them, I would like them to start sending me products because they are a pretty cool company and they do some cool audio things and some retro things. There's an MP3 player that I want to look at, but today we are looking at their CD player because if you haven't noticed, CDs are back, especially CDs. The cassette tapes are a bit of a novelty. They're exciting, but they're usually more expensive than the CDs. And so CDs are definitely back. A lot of people say it's one of the best formats that ever existed. A lot of people say mini disc is actually the real best format ever existed. But CD players, streaming is great. But when you have everything, access to all things all the time, it actually becomes quite taxing on your mental health. And so I'm on a mission to declutter my life by getting more stuff. So today we're looking at the Fiio DM13. So they have included the coaxial cable with the gold plating, so that's very nice. Not the greatest USB-C cable, but it's just for power. I have a gajillion of these now, so it is a bit of e-waste, but anyway, there we go. USB-C cable. And now for the moment of truth. I did quite a bit of Googling and that on this, but I wasn't sure if it's metal, but the heft of it does make it feel like it is metal. So there we got all our shit. So I know for a fact that this is going to be able to, send audio to big studio headphones with big drivers in them quite easily. So we're not going to have an issue there. But before we begin, let me just express my interest in somebody out there to help me build a case for the Fiio. If you have purchased one of these, I am putting it out there that whoever helps me build a nice case. So, you need to be vetted. You need to be someone that can design cool things in a 3D designer. But once we get through that process and I choose someone, you will get the money for a project video. And so we'll do a project video about our cool case that we designed for the Fiio DM13. PCBWay are a 3D printing PCB manufacturer, CNC milling, a whole bunch of things. Go check out their website. Their help facility is very helpful. And the quality so far that I've seen, especially on the 3D printing side, which I've done projects for, is pretty exceptional. If you use a resin print, you can choose quite a few different types of materials for different applications. I used a clear plastic for the buttons on my RGB 20SX mod, and they just came out beautifully. So there's some really cool things that you can do with PCBWay. Thanks so much to PCBWay for sponsoring my videos. So like the manual said, we've got our option button there. We have our volume, I'm guessing, skip, pause and play. So there's no stop button. So apparently he needs to use the options to use stop. But I mean, you just pause it and then power it off. I don't think you ever actually need a stop button on this thing. Okay, so this is interesting because this is a balanced output and it's not a normal jack size that I'm used to. So I'll have to do a little bit of research there, but so that is a balanced output. That is your normal headphone jack output. Quite tinny. I think, that's why I like doing these reviews myself, because I watched everyone's reviews and I don't remember a single person mentioning how tinny it is. And that's the thing. Like if you're a aficionado and you would rather go thrifting for an old CD player, you go, oh, well, I'll rather spend a bit of money and buy a new one. And then you get it and it sounds like that. It might bother you. So I am telling you. On the back, we've got the D mode. Everybody needs a bit of D in their life. Okay, we've got power. We've got the ESP, which is a stabilization. We've got the USB record. So I just need to confirm whether that's out or in. Coaxial. So our little coaxial cable will go in there. Quite firm. Let's just see if it's going to wear in, because that is not a nice feeling. That is not a good feeling. And then there's another balanced LO. So now let's get some headphones and let's play some tunes. So this is a little story time from Aiden Walls. This is the first CD I ever purchased. I hope it's still inside you. Yes. I caught a bus from my home to the Musica, which was the music store in South Africa, to our main road, and I purchased this for, I think it was 50 Rand. So CDs eventually petered, evened out about 100 Rand. So this is early days. What an album. So I'm going to play this because like I know it like the back of my hand. Look how I looked after my CD. So we open it here. Physical catch there. So let's just show you. I think it's spring loaded. So when you pull that, yeah, and then it pops up. It's got a stopping point to it. I got to say, like, it feels like a tin can. I have to just say that. This is quite like a sharp edge. I mean, they are fairly affordable with some pretty good electronics on the inside. But just those little finishes really do make a difference. Oh, this is CNC'd aluminium. Yeah, so this is like some sort of metal that they've coated. This is CNC'd aluminium. This edge here, and it pops on like any portable CD player. It's got that ball bearing mechanism that keeps the CD on there. What's interesting, so you see, one of the reasons for the strange way that this lid appears, like it's got a metal plate on the inside and then this thing on the outside, and then they haven't finished this off very well, is because there's electronics inside there. We've got all these buttons. So maybe we can forgive them for that. This is very nice. The Fiio on the top, sort of glossy Fiio. Like, look at that. That is really nice. Okay, and then we press the power button. I don't know if it's just a yeah, press and hold. Yeah, and it says, "Hello, Fiio. My name is not Fiio. DM13. Okay, very nice. The unmistakable sound of CDs reading. Oh, man. Okay, so it is playing. Yeah, it is reading it and it is playing. It's very nice LCD display, very clear and crisp. So again, the input for the jack does not feel very like awe-inspiring. Why did we ever give up on CDs? So that is the volume there. Okay, so now let's test like walking. I never owned my Casio portable CD player never had ESP. So this is quite a novelty for me. It gets really loud. Like I think it goes up to 100. It was getting really unpleasantly loud at about 74. Audio quality is exactly as I remember it, just crystal clear. The depth that you get on the sound is really good. Here's another album that I played to death. Counting Crows, August and Everything After. Yeah, I mean, these are very good headphones as well. But man, that intro for the first song, what's the first song? Around Here. Like, I know the tone and the sound of those instruments. Like, I've listened to it in so many different ways over the years, and it sounds lovely on here. Okay, so some features. The function button allows you to go into a single press will let you the repeat mode. So you can put it on random, you can switch it off, you can do a single song, or you can repeat all. So it'll just repeat the CD over time. That's just giving you a status readout of what's connected. And then if you press and hold, it will save the current song to your favorites. And so you can skip between favorites. That used to be a feature in old CD players. Then if you press the function and power, that is stop. And then so power and volume will just cycle between 3 brightnesses. The screen has a timeout function, so you press power and the skip buttons to set the how long it's going to take to time out. So you can go LED on 30 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Not sure what blank means. Maybe it just switches off immediately. I mean, it's not going to draw that much power. I think 30 minutes is fine. So it is a bit annoying when companies do this. They use like button combinations. We get this a little bit in the retro gaming scene where you get shortcuts that you have to learn. Now, it will probably become second nature, but this is quite counterintuitive to get Bluetooth going. So, I mean, I guess it is retro and we'll be using headphones and that sort of thing. But in this day and age, I'm going to be using this and using my Bluetooth headphones. So once you've powered it on, you can use the power button to toggle through the different output modes. So Bluetooth out, USB out, there's a bunch here. The SPDIF out. So okay, so now we're in blue out. Now we want to press the back button, press and hold the back button. There we go. And my speaker is in pairing mode. So you need your speaker in pairing mode. So the output is quite soft to the Bluetooth. It also took quite a long time to pair, so that was a bit of a mission. I have been having trouble with this JBL lately, so it might be the speaker. But now that Bluetooth out is selected, I think every time, so it looks like the Bluetooth will remain selected. So I will fiddle with this and confirm that on the screen now. But it does seem like now that we have selected Bluetooth out as the output option, so we're not doing output via USB, we're doing Bluetooth out. We are now in Bluetooth out mode. It remains in Bluetooth out mode, and I can just use the back button as my Bluetooth pairing button. But again, you now have to remember every single time, if you don't use this every day of your life, you're going to forget that that is the pairing button. So a critical feature, there should have been a dedicated button for this. Like here, just there should have been a button at the back, something like a little switch. Just a little bit silly on their part, I think. Here we have a CD player, a portable CD player that has so many features that we didn't have before. It has a very, very good DAC in here. I'll put some information about the sort of audio chain on this. We have a coaxial output for your like hi-fi aficionados. We have the ESP, premium feature from the olden days. We have the USB out, so that is nice. I know that they have a DAC that uses USB outs, and there's a bunch of applications that you can use USB out for. We can use this as like a hi-fi integrated system, which is really nice. We have the lovely LCD display on the front, a very nice LCD display. The things that I immediately don't like are these buttons just seem very precarious, and they need quite a bit of a press to register, which is good because it is mobile. So, now it's paused. If I quickly press it, it doesn't go in, it doesn't play. There, okay, now the second press. Okay, now it is doing a quick press. So that is quite inconsistent, actually. Anyway, I'm not sure I'm mad about the button placement here. As a desktop mode, these buttons do make sense, but in sort of like portability mode, like now I just displayed, sometimes they press, sometimes they don't, so that is a bit of an issue. I would like a case for this that protects these buttons. And I'll leave my final sort of conclusion for the big video that I'm going to do about this, but just to say, I think overall, this is just wonderful. I mean, the audio quality is very good. It is not overly huge. It's maybe a little bit chunkier than the CD players of the olden days. I remember the CD players eventually reached a point where they're just like figure hugging of a CD. This is obviously a little bit more chunky, but compared to some of the competitors, there's a Moondrop, I think, which is quite big. This is compact, seems pretty durable. It's a metal casing, and I get to play this. So, yep, check it out. They are on Amazon, so you can go purchase it there.